All right, I think we'll get started. Uh, this is the El Paso County Trail Ambassador orientation for our program. It's going to get started up at Rainbow Falls and Manitou Springs and out at the paint mines out in Calhan. We have 24 people sign up tonight, and I'm glad that everybody's going to make it out tonight. So we'll go ahead and get started with our introductions. So my name is Aaron Rogers. I am the program coordinator for the Trails and Open Space Coalition. TOSC is an area nonprofit of 501c3. Our mission is to build a network of connected trails and open spaces across the region. And one of the ways that we do that is through volunteer programs like this. And I also have the El Paso County Park staff with me tonight, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dana Nordstrom. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator for El Paso County Parks. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here tonight and excited to be working with Trails and Open Space Coalition for our first Trails Ambassador program.
Woohoo, and thank you all for coming. We really appreciate you. My name is Teresa Odello. I work for El Paso County Community Services too, and I help with staffing at Rainbow Falls and the Paint Mines Interpretive Site. So I drive all around town and I'm out there a lot. So I will be sure to bump into you on the trails. Thanks.
All right, so this is like one big team through all this. So tonight, with our kind of agenda for tonight, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what to expect out of a Trail Ambassador program. So we're going to answer questions such as, what is a Trail Ambassador? And what are the goals of the program? And what do Trail Ambassadors do and don't do? We'll also go over some of the next steps. So our goal is to get everybody acclimated to what a Trail Ambassador does and what a volunteer does for El Paso County Parks. And we'll ease any of the questions in your mind and get you ready for the in-person training that will take place soon. So before we get started, I want to paint the bigger picture and set the scene for why Trail Ambassadors are needed. So first, I want to talk about some of the current outdoor recreation user trends that we're seeing in the Pikes Peak region. So last year in 2020, and mostly due to the pandemic, there was a 300% increase in trail and park usage in just Colorado Springs. In other places along the Front Range, there was as much as a 3,000% increase in some of the foothill locations west of Denver. So what that has created is really an onslaught of users out on the trails. Some are brand new to outdoor recreation. Most are pretty good about knowing what they're doing, but it's really set up an opportunity for us to reach out to more people. This year in 2021, a lot of the experts are telling us to expect another 100 to 300% increase on top of last year's numbers. So the parking lots will stay full. Our parks will have a lot of good people out there. So it's something to keep an eye on. Over the last 10 years, we've really seen a new phenomenon take place here in the Pikes Peak region, and it's called the ultra users. So the Trust for Public Lands did a study to figure out how often people use parks. And when they looked at Colorado Springs in the greater Pikes Peak region, they found out that the average park user here uses their parks 4 to 5 times a week. They use their parks almost twice as much as anyone else in the country. So they had to come up with a new term to describe that, and they call us ultra users. So when you're looking at 2020 and 2021, we're expecting more of these ultra users to get out in the parks, but because of overcrowding, they're being pushed out to new parks. So one of those areas that they're being pushed out to are some of our fringe parks around the outskirts of the county. So places like the paint mines, like Homestead Ranch and the Pineries are seeing an increase because of these users. Also in the Pikes Peak region, we're expecting a huge increase in ecotourism this year. Because of COVID restrictions and fears, people are staying outside and recreating as a part of their vacations. And also, the people are looking for affordable activities with the rise in travel costs such as rental cars and gas, that people are looking for free things to do. And some of the best free things that you can do are Rainbow Falls and the paint mines. Back in 2018, there was a study done by one of the big trail advocate organizations for the nation that found out that half of healthy adults didn't recreate once, not even one walk around the country. Fast forward 3 years now into the future, and the same organization feels now that that extra half of people that people have been trying to reach through advocacy are going to actually get outside this summer, and they're going to look for short walks to get healthy, and they're going to hit a lot of these parks when restrictions lessen a little bit more. That's going to cause an impact too. So it's something to keep in mind that with trail ambassadors, there'll be an opportunity to meet these people who are going outside for the first time in years. We'll talk a little bit more of that in a little bit. Then there are things going on around the city involving construction projects and other capital projects. They're going to push people to new parks. One, for example, is Northshine Canyon Park. It's going to be closed 5 days a week and open on weekends. The road through the middle of the park will be. So that's going to force tourists to go find new places. And it's going to force weekend warriors who go out for hikes and recreation to find new places too. I believe that Rainbow Falls will be one of those spots that tourists will go to. And if those long-lasting projects up in Northshine Canyon that will impact Silver Cascade Falls and Helen Hunt Falls, if it impacts that, then I can expect Rainbow Falls numbers to be pushed even higher. So the in summary of all of this is that we're going to expect a lot more user traffic this summer in our parks, and that we're going to need a lot of help. So what is a volunteer trail ambassador? A trail ambassador is a volunteer who walks trails looking for opportunities to educate the public. In the most simplistic way, that is how to describe a volunteer trail ambassador. They're not looking to solve all the world's problems. They're not out there fixing problems with the trails. Instead, what a trail ambassador is doing is looking for points of opportunity to give a good first positive impression. So, volunteer trail ambassadors are needed now more than ever. With the increase in visitation, it is a need by the Paso County Parks system that there needs to be positive contacts made with people. And when there's positive education, that sets the tone for good experiences for the public, but also sets up the expectations for care for fragile natural resources. And all through the spring so far and into the winter, this past winter, we've seen a bunch of articles about all the extreme use that's been taking place out in the paint mines. And that's a good example of where a trail ambassador can really make a difference. Trail ambassadors don't have to be out there waving their finger, blowing whistles at people all the time. With a good first contact, where they talk about how fragile rocks are and how fragile the geology is and habitats, that can set the tone for all the visitors and educate people who just wouldn't know any better. So that is the power of a trail ambassador. So why are trail ambassadors needed? Well, like I've been saying, they set up that positive first point of contact. They also have a chance to model good behavior on trails and at trailheads. They help answer questions that people have. They help visitors have a better trip, and they give tips about how to stay safe and to keep people from doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So to continue this about why a trail ambassador is needed, one of the things that has been a big talking point this spring is having trail ambassadors who come across like just everyday hazards or maintenance issues along trails to report those to staff. It helps the staff and the maintenance people out there have an extra set of eyes to just know where hazards are and to know if there's any problems that they can fix, or at least add it to a queue of problems they can fix later. Also, leave no trace is becoming a big topic. With all this use, people just don't know any better. And it's good for them to learn about the 7 principles of leave no trace. So trail ambassadors have the opportunity to talk to people and help cut down a lot of community user conflicts and also cut down the amount of litter left behind. And trail ambassadors, they're needed for their passion and love for the outdoors. Everybody has good stories about their favorite parks, and they all have stories about the wildlife and just special circumstances that they have witnessed. And they can share that passion with visitors and propel them and inspire them to take care of their parks or visiting parks too. So, what do trail ambassadors do? So, they talk, and they talk a lot. The trail ambassador's big goal is to talk to as many people and educate as many people as possible for every shift that they go out into a park. So, the first goal is to talk to the public. And when they're out along the trails, they can start trailheads and talk to people and educate people about their what to expect. They can answer map questions, or they can answer weather questions, or just make sure that people are prepared for what they're about to see and do. And trail ambassadors spend a lot of time walking, and you can kind of pick your own adventure. You can try to go out a little further and talk to people that are in deeper parts away from the trailheads, or you can stick nearby and talk to people. And you can try to anticipate when people are having issues and talk to them and educate them about how to improve their trip. Trail ambassadors are kind of fearless. They want to spend time on busy trails. And they want to spend times at parks when it's at the busiest. It is that little bit of that extrovert that we're looking for, where they're not afraid to go talk to people, even though it's slammed all around with people. And we're looking for trail ambassadors who are willing to spread joy and positivity. We want trail ambassadors who seek users to talk to. So it's that way of actively looking for opportunities to make an impact. It is tough to leave an impact on a park if you shy away from people or you don't look for instigating contact. So another thing that I've been seeing that trail ambassadors have been doing, and this is something that we could possibly adapt at some point, but with in all, trail ambassadors give out a lot of trail information, park history, and they interpret nature. They also talk about trail etiquette and leaving a trace. They also help with park staff with projects or any other special needs that they have. So basically, you're assisting the agency, and it's El Paso County Park in this case. And they're trying to make the staff's life easier so they can focus on their own projects that they might have at the time and kind of lessen their load and help them out. So trail ambassadors also take a ton of pictures. So sometimes you're out in the park and there's just no people. It might be because there's been a rainstorm. It might be hot, it might be cold, but it's always a chance to take pictures of wildlife and wildflowers and the vistas or anything of significance that park staff can use in education programs or for any kind of public service announcements later on. Also, I've been seeing trail ambassadors across the region starting to use eBird and iNaturalist and apps like Clean Sweep to help with community science. So you can be contributing your sightings and helping out scientists figure out what's going on in our parks. So we're going to go on to the next slide. Since I've been talking a lot, here's a picture of Rainbow Falls last summer. All right, so what do trail ambassadors not do? The biggest thing to remember is that you're not a superhero. You are not expected to be law enforcement. So if you're seeing crime taking place, you can take a note of it and you can call 911 or the sheriff's department or the police department, but you're not expected to be law enforcement. You're not expected to be a firefighter. If you see something that a firefighter might be called to, we don't want you to get involved. We want you to stay safe. So that's something else you're going to report to 911. And same with being a paramedic. If there is a major emergency that is beyond what you can do or beyond what El Paso County wants you to do, then 911 is what you want to do. Trail ambassadors are not park rangers or game wardens. So if you see that aggressive bear out there, you're not going to be the one who takes care of it. If you see the mountain lion, you're definitely not going to be the one who wrangles it in and rides it off into the sunset so everybody else stays safe. That'll be an issue that we pass along to someone else to take care of who can safely address the situation. The biggest thing that I preach during all these trail ambassador meetings is that we do not aggressively approach users. Our goal is to make friends out on the trails and to leave people with positive experiences. Sometimes we come into situations where we have to approach people that are doing things that we don't like, but we don't do so in an aggressive way. When you're aggressive to a person, when you're condescending or super negative, you have created an enemy for not only yourself, but for the agency. And that is not good. Our goal is to be safe with visitors, is to be kind, compassionate, and respectful. But we don't have to be aggressive while we're doing that. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the benefits. So what are you guys getting out of this? Why should a person volunteer to be a trail ambassador? And one of the big things is the increased social circle. It looks like we're going to have a pretty good sized team of trail ambassadors for this program. So there is that social circle where you'll get to meet and really get to know the other trail ambassadors in this program. So you'll expand your social circle. Later in the summer, we're going to have a big social of all of the different programs out there. So right now there are trail ambassador programs in Cheyenne Mountain State Park. There is one in North Cheyenne Canyon Park. There is one in Green Mountain Falls, and soon there'll be one in the open spaces of Colorado Springs. So at one point in July, we're going to bring everybody together, and we're going to have a big networking kind of celebration of what we've been up to. So it'll be that opportunity to get to talk to people who are just like you, and to really get to celebrate all the people who love to educate visitors about nature and take care of nature. There's also the mental and physical health benefits of being a trail ambassador. Current research shows that all you need is 20 minutes a day outside for mental benefits. And if you can get 2 hours of physical kind of activity outside in a park per week, then you'll also see cardiovascular and other good benefits for your body. By just taking up a shift or two of a trail ambassador a shift out in one of these parks, then you'll take care of both of those. So you'll be both mentally stronger and physically stronger because of this program. We also want you to learn new skills and nurture them. So we're all learning, and if you love the outdoors and if you love interacting with people, you're constantly picking up new skills. And through this program, we're going to teach you new skills of how to interact with the public, different ways, different psychological skills you can take to influence people to behave right. So we're going to teach that in the in-person training. Also, being a trail ambassador is a very unique way to make an impact on your community. These parks need your help. They need everybody's help, but they need kind, compassionate people to be out there as trail ambassadors to educate people about how to recreate safely and responsibly. So that is a really good way to impact your community and help make sure that all our favorite wild places are around to enjoy. So there's benefits for the county parks. The staff receive extra help with caring for the parks they love. The staff can focus on complex part of their jobs when there's trail ambassadors around. It helps relieve some of that pressure if they happen to be working at the same time. And the trail ambassadors will push the message of El Paso County Parks further. The staff, with their responsibilities and time, are limited to how many people they can talk to, but trail ambassadors can really push that message even further to even more people and more efficiently as well. So the visitors benefit as well. A lot of these answers came from research that we did from the Trails and Open Space Coalition, where we looked into area parks that have trail ambassadors across the country. And we saw what visitors were saying about the program and what they benefited from the most. And what we found that was the number one thing that people loved about being in parks with trail ambassadors was that they had a friendly person to ask questions to. That in a lot of parks, you show up, you drive in, you arrive at a trailhead, and then if you don't have a map on you or you're just there on the whim, they have no clue what to do next. But if there's a trail ambassador there, then they have a friendly person who can give them a tip about where a good trail is, or what to expect on the trails that day. We also found that visitors liked having a volunteer there to talk to opposed to staff because it was less intimidating. Sometimes when staff is out there in their uniforms, There are some people who are shy enough to not approach a staff person or are afraid to, and a volunteer is a lot less intimidating. Also, we found that visitors love asking for stories or personal anecdotes or personal information about the trails that people have. When they show up to a park, they might be asking about what trees that they're seeing or what rock formation or how did the rocks get there. And interpretive signage gets you so far, but trail ambassadors that have that passion can pass that information along and really make the park come alive. And the visitors love that. And also, what we found is that when visitors are out recreating on the trails, they kind of get into that tourist mode where they kind of lose track of common sense. And trail ambassadors are a great extra set of eyes watching over them. Maybe it's talking about staying off of rocks or being mindful of climbing or anything like that. That where a person would need that extra little guidance to stay safe. And visitors are very they like the idea of having the idea that someone is out there watching over them. And we can't forget about nature. Our natural resources, they benefit from trail ambassadors as well. And all parks need more advocates. And trail ambassadors definitely advocate for their parks. They're the ones who are going to take note of what's going on in the park and really push it to the public when the time is ready. The nature in our parks, they benefit from people who are educating about the fragile natural resources, especially the hoodoos and paint mines and some of the riparian areas along by Rainbow Falls from Fountain Creek that passes through. Um, Nature will really benefit from someone who's able to educate the public about how fragile those spots are and how we can't take for granted. And the information that is shared, or let's see, then there's the inspiring stewardship. So nature will definitely benefit from having a new generation of stewards. Uh, when trail ambassadors are on the trail, you can pick up trash. You can model that behavior. And just that little bit, that if a person sees that, that can inspire a person to pick up trash as well on their trip or get involved with another cleanup in another spot. So everything you can do to be a good steward will definitely benefit nature. So there's always the safety that we talk about. We want our trail ambassadors to be safe. So these are things that we'll go over during a training. But we want you to know that there will be, we'll have you prepared for your outings, that when you're ready to go, that you'll be prepared, that COVID precautions will be taken into account, that we'll be mindful of weather. We'll be mindful of how to get around aggressive and dangerous users if that happens at all. You'll be aware of medical emergencies and wildlife. And during our trainings, that if anything else comes up with safety, we'll make sure that we address it. So we'll make sure that everybody is ready and will safely be a trail ambassador. So some of this will change and it will vary from trip to trip out there. But what does a shift look like when you're out there? During our trainings, we'll teach you about how to start and where it starts. We'll show you the trails that you'll be walking on or the pathway and what to expect along those pathways. We'll also tell you about how long shifts are. The majority of programs out there are about 2 to 3 hours long with how they spend time out there. If you need a buddy out there, we can make it happen. We can make accommodations, make sure that you have a buddy until you feel like you're ready to roll by yourself. And we also preach the importance of post-shift reports. We want to make sure that we're getting good data. We want to make sure that we're getting the right stats to prove that our program is working. And we also use that to help shift trainings and also helped adjust to any gaps that we might have in training. So we'll be having you guys fill out reports and other kinds of things that will help guide us and making sure it's the best experience for you guys. So something to think ahead about is when you start this program, you want to make sure you have a good backpack. You want to be ready for the sun out there and be ready with your PPE for COVID. Maybe a first aid kit for yourself, snacks, be thinking about what you can have out there. think about the apps you might want to add to your phone so you can be involved in community science. Make sure you have your binoculars ready for the season, and make sure you have a good wide brim hat and good shoes that you can wear out there. We'll make sure that you have something that identifies you as a park ambassador so that people will know that you're one and that you are legit so that you don't have to worry about identifying yourself as one all the time. All right, so there'll be next steps coming up. And for everybody who received an email and signed up for this Zoom, you'll be receiving an application from me and from El Paso County Parks that you have to fill out. You have to fill that out in order to RSVP for the in-person trainings. So that is the next big thing we have to do. The in-person trainings will be scheduled for next week, and all this information will be sent out in emails to you all. But the next big step is that we need you to fill out that application so that we get to learn more about you, and also so that we can get that as an RSVP for next week. And in the email that will go out, we'll have specific information about where we'll be meeting, agenda items, what to expect, and all of that. So be on the lookout for that either tonight or tomorrow. And that's when that email will go out. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right, so I'm going to turn over to Teresa. She is the agency person who is running this for El Paso County Park, and I'm assisting her with this program. If you have any questions or if Teresa has anything more to add, we'll get started there.
Yeah, thanks again for showing up. So our goal with this program is, obviously you might not find mountain lions in Rainbow Falls or paint mines, but our goal is to really help out our staff. The paint mines has been hit especially hard this year with so many people, and just having one extra person walking around there who's clearly identified, we'll have vests that we have available for you, really helps out. Even if, you're just being a presence there, besides speaking to someone and saying hi and telling them about the resource and how many years old it is, so it's not great to climb on. It's a really nice assistance for us because we can't always have staff there. So now we have started staffing. I'm going to start with the paint mines. We've started staffing the paint mines on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. But we're going to open it up to, if you want to go there on a Tuesday, that's okay too. It helps us to spread out our eyes and see what's going on the days that we don't have staff there. So that would be very helpful for that. On the on-person in the insight trainings that we're going to have on site, besides just, hey, these are the trails, this is what we want you to do, we're also going to give you a brief talk about the geology of the area and the history of the area and what's its significance. And that way you're not, you get to learn more during the insight presentations versus like, okay, here's the trails, great, you're on your own, bye. So we want to provide you with the resources you need to do the best that you can to help us out and to help out the resource and to help out the parks that we have here so they can be there for a long time, much longer than us. Rainbow Falls Historic Site, currently it's open on weekends, just Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 4. Now, next month, this is May, June, July, and August, it'll be open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, same times. So that's more limited. Right now, even we don't have overflow parking. There's, if you've been to Rainbow Falls, there's a parking lot. When you come down Serpentine, you hit Rainbow Falls, then you keep on going down, and there's a parking lot below it. Right now, the city, with all their construction that they're doing, that lot's blocked off. So it's sort of nice because now we have limited capacity because we only have 9 parking spots in the site itself. My goal is to, if we have a shift coming, of a trail ambassador, we'll save you a parking spot. We'll be nice like that. So you don't have to park all the way in downtown Manitou and pay for parking and walk all the way up. We appreciate our trail ambassadors. So, but it is limited times, but it would really help us out to have that extra eyes and ears. And Rainbow Falls, it'll be more like talking about the history and the geology, the great nonconformity will be our emphasis there. So right now, unless Dana, do you have anything to add right now? You're good. Okay. So we are open to questions. Like, I want to know, why did you guys come to this virtual training? What's your interest? You could either chat it or turn off your microphone. You don't have to turn off your camera. That's okay. You can leave yourself hidden. But please let us know what questions you have, what we could do, and let's go from there. So let's hear from you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is Jax Hilaire. I am familiar with the eastern part of the county, so I'm not really very interested in helping with Rainbow Falls. Is that an issue?
No, you could just do one site or the other. You don't have to do both. If you can do both, that's okay too. But if you just want to do paint lines, you could do it.
Okay. Do you have emergency plans, like for an air evac if we have an accident, that type of thing, for the paint mines?
So for the paint mines, we've equipped the caretaker there has a gator, like a little car, a little Polaris, whatever, small little vehicle that can get halfway in. We've bought because when you're getting in the paint mines, your cell phone doesn't work. You're down beneath the formations, everything's
I'm
above
aware.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we equipped it with a modular, it's a device, it's like a antenna hotspot right there that we could turn on to call 911 if needed. So our first response is calling 911 if there's an emergency. I am actually training my staff person tomorrow night. I teach first aid, CPR, and AED. I'm training him tomorrow night in that, so he'll be trained in that. And also, if you sign up and do a shift of a trail ambassador, we will offer training, first aid, CPR, and AED through the American Red Cross. Well, you'll have to take it through me, so sorry, for only $35, and that's good for 2 years, because that's just what it costs us to get the certification. We don't charge any extra for my time or whatever. We're just appreciate our volunteers.
Is there a limited, is there a minimum number of hours that you want somebody to sign up for?
You know, for this program, we do not have a minimum number of hours. Ideally, it would be once a month, but or more, but we do not have a minimum. You know, we understand people want to travel, or well, not anymore, but people used to want to travel, but you have your own obligations too. But we appreciate what time you could spare with us. I've also found that if you're out there a little bit more, you get more used to it and you're more relaxed. So.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. We got a message from Judy Phelan saying the training is on the birding weekend. If you didn't know, that weekend is a Pikes Peak Birding and Nature Festival. That is correct. The training will be at Rainbow Falls Friday afternoon, 3 to 5, and then Saturday morning at the paint mines. Again, you don't have to attend both of those. If you want to attend one, just let me know and submit your application. Judy already got your application, and a couple other people I did too. So thanks for that. So we are good to go. So let's see. Judy, I know our training's at Rainbow Falls. That's fine. How can we make up training? I signed up for the paint mines birding at the same time as you're at Rainbow Falls. Well, that's so great that you're going to be at the paint mines and learning the birds already to help us out. So we can work it out, and for an additional training, if we get a group of people, like at least 3 or 4 people to have this on-site training go. If I don't get 4 people, it's might be a little hard to do it. So we'll just do it in groups and we'll take it as it goes. I think I addressed everything in the chat right there. Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Any questions? Michael, Brendan, Autumn? See, I'm calling you out, making you say something. So there.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I'm pretty excited. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I worked in the Park Service. I was the Grand Teton National Park Safety Officer, so I'm pretty familiar with trail ambassadors and volunteers, and I'm retired. I have a lot of time, and I'm excited about this and the training and just getting out there and walking. I'm in Rama near the paint mine, so it's like 15 minutes away. So that'll be convenient for me. And just getting out and meeting people and educating them too. It's an exciting, opportunity. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, this is a new opportunity for us. We'd want to reach out, especially, the paint mines, and it's just, we're hoping that it takes off and we get more feedback. So thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Our trainings are super fun because you have to listen to me the whole time. Oh no, I'm kidding. We will get even people more smarter than me to do the trainings. Sorry. Yeah. So, okay, let's see any other questions, preview the trainings. We're going to go to the sites, take a hike, obviously, and talk about the geology and the cultural history, and then really emphasize what we want you to do. Again, it's not going to be, you're going to tell people, don't climb there, don't do that, don't do that. When I go to the paint mines, it's interpreting it through the resource. So instead of, like you approach someone who's, above the hoodoos, instead of like, oh, you need to get down from there, it's climbing, and say, I approached it in regards of, those things that you're climbing on are like over 5 million years old. Isn't that cool? It's made from the iron. And then I go into that, then I say, so if you're climbing on it, it sort of messes up the structure. So if you could come off, that would be awesome. And they seem more receptive to that. It's, I'm sure, Michael, you've known about protecting the resource, the interpretation of the resource, being a park ranger. You just talk about the resource first and it makes people understand it better. So like neither one, like dogs, for example, like, oh, dogs aren't allowed at the paint mines. And it's because, sometimes even when they're on leash or climbing, they want to smell everything. They're so curious, and just talk about the resource and how the impact it has. And that's what we'll be going over too during the training, the on-site training. Okay, I don't see any other questions. How about you, Aaron? You good?
I think we're all set, and being in trail ambassador is a lot of fun. It's so much fun to talk to people and get to know them when you're out in the trails. And that's usually my favorite part, is just hearing the stories about why people chose to go hiking that day, or, what cool things are they seeing or find interesting. It is fun to hear about that. And you guys will look for that too. And it is a great experience. That is one of those things that is brand new across the country, is the idea of a trail ambassador. And you guys are pioneers, and we're glad you guys chose to do it.
I just threw in my email in the box if you have any further questions. But again, so for what we're doing next, we're going to send you an email. It'll have the application on there unless you've already filled it out. And if you can get that into me and Aaron, and let us know if you are able to make either the paint mines or the rainbows, or if you're interested in maybe a future date, let me know that too, because we'll see what we could do about figuring it out.
All right, guys, we'll wrap that up. Let's see. We got one more thing in the chat. Let's see. Awesome.
I think I answered all that. So,
all right. Yeah. So what we'll do is be on the lookout for our next email that will come out either tonight or tomorrow morning with the application to fill out, and then that will help us get RSVP'd up for next week for the trainings, and we'll see you then. Thank you, guys.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if we're, oh, I'm sorry, I've got. If we're not available to it this weekend, are you saying you will have other trainers?
I'm sorry, I missed that question. Can you repeat it, Judy? Still can't hear you, dear.
I think she's asking if she can't make this coming weekend's training, will we have another training coming up?
Yep. Again, what if you can't make this? Well, not this weekend, but the next weekend. Not training. What you'll do is just let me know that you're interested, and then next time we set one up, I'll let you know. And Judy, also, you've done some training already at Rainbow Falls, so you're up there. What we'll just do is I can meet you out there, and we'll give you the trail ambassador approach to the training. So you'll be fine. We'll make it happen. Okay, great. Well, again, thank you guys all for coming. We really appreciate you. And I'll see you guys on the trails, and hopefully I'll hear from you in the future. Cheers.
Bye.